Hi guys, welcome back to Create Your Own Cozy. My name is Heather, and on this week's video, I'm gonna do some custom wall decor. Two of the items were inspired by last week's video where I went to an estate sale and got to see this beautiful curated home full of wonderful estate sale items. Some of them were in the $75 to $100 range, and I wasn't really willing to pay that much, so I wanted to give it a try and take you along with me. So the last project, my husband just had a birthday this weekend, and he is also an artist, and he created Lego mosaic portraits for all 5 of us in our family and wanted me to make custom frames to go around each one of them. So it's a really basic, show you how I did that, but it's really kind of easy to do. If you have anything that your kids have made or that are a little outside of the box, you don't have to go to Hobby Lobby and have a custom frame made if you just want a nice quick and dirty wood surround on it. So if you like this type of video, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, like this video if you like the content, and show me some love in the comments below and let me know what your favorite project was and if you were inspired at all to create your own cozy in your home. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye. So a friend of mine gave me this barnwood frame from Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to use this as the base for this and just grab some drop cloth that was left over from my reupholster project. So I put it over the insert that was already in there and started the cut and then ripped it, because man, drop cloth just works really well like that. So just turned it to the other side so nothing's coming through, down to size, and I am using Henry's little perch, and he's pouting right here. Sad that I'm on your little stoop. Hey Henry, look at Mama. Are you wagging your tail, Henry? Henry. Oh, he's a sweet boy. Oh, he's a sweet boy. You letting Mommy use your stoop? Is that your lookout stoop? Back to the project. High heat glue, just getting the edges down. It's a nice thick fabric so you can't see the glue marks. I wish I would have pulled this a little more taut for the final product, but I still think it turned out well. So next I'm going to grab my IOD Queen Bee stamp set, which I've used in a couple videos before, and just using my StazOn ink and making sure I push down really hard since it's on fabric. I just really like the way this ink looks on the drop cloth, and I have a beautiful Queen Bee wall decor. What do you think? Now on to the next project on the Cricut. I went to this Etsy shop here and found a design that was already done. I paid $3.50 to own the digital file. That was just kind of easier than trying to recreate it right now for me. So you just download the file after you've paid for it and upload it into your Cricut design space. I decided to use iron-on vinyl. I tried to use or to make a stencil with this, but I think the font was so thin that it became, I tried 2 different times and it didn't work out. So I just went with this other plan to iron it on. So when you're using the iron-on technique, make sure you always mirror your image so that it's going to come out backwards. And I just chose the iron-on material that's non-Cricut. So the next process is to weed out the material you don't want. I did this in the car while I was waiting on a kid's appointment, so I did not take a video of it. But you're basically getting rid of all the vinyl that is not going to be ironed on. And a trick I learned is always keep your product straight and bend the mat. That way you don't have curly product. So I'm going to use my Cricut Easy Press, and you always preheat what the surface you're about to put it on for 15 seconds. I'm using 325 degrees here. Turns out, because this is burlap, it required a lot more than any t-shirts I've ever done. But first what I did is put the sheet down where I wanted it, held it down for 30 seconds, and then flipped it over to the back for 15 seconds. And that's usually how much you need for t-shirt material, but I probably did this 2 or 3 times before it finally stuck. But you can always move slowly. It's a lot easier to gradually increase your heat and your time than to burn your product. You can see here I'm checking on it, and as I gradually peel it up, some of the stuff isn't coming. So I just put it back down and try again. So here's another free frame I got. I have good friends, don't I? And I did the same thing where I cut slits and ripped the edges of that drop cloth. It did not have a backer, so I grabbed this out of the basement. It was just my spare wood. I got a lot of it down there, and I didn't like the finished side. I liked the unfinished side, so I cut it down to size and just hot glued it in. Why not? Hot glue fixes everything. And then hot glued the drop cloth on the front. Now I was considering making this look really old and washing it in a little tub of either tea or coffee to make it look really old, but I decided against it because I liked how it looked and I didn't want to ruin it. So let me know in the comments below, would you have added like a tea stain look to this so that it really looks old and vintage? Now on to the custom frames. Here I am in Home Depot, where each 8-foot strip of wood is $3 and I think 48 cents. This is the size I probably would have done if I was going to buy it, but I happen to have the other size in my basement. So I used the base plates and just drew lines where I needed to make the cuts. So I wasn't dealing with measurements, I was just dealing with actuals. And I had the top measurement be, the top and bottom pieces be longer, and then have the side pieces just fit in between the two pieces of wood. Next, I had my littlest help sand. She needed something to do, but see all those stamps and stuff? I actually just took the Orbital sander to it and rounded all the edges. And then here's the gel stain that I'm going to use. He likes this Kona color to match all of his IKEA furniture in his office. So I obliged and just did one coat and tried to do it as light as possible, just so it would go with the furniture but not be too overpowering. Next, you'll see what I mean when I said, see the top piece is longer, and I didn't do any crazy beveled edges. I just did the top piece and the bottom piece longer, and I'm using a high heat glue gun because this is a super light project, and this was actually the quickest thing to do. So I am gluing all the wood pieces together, and you can see I have some scrap wood that I've put underneath to kind of make sure that the Lego plate is even across, and I just hot glued those in all the places, and then did a dry fit and hot glued that in. I'm telling you, this was so light, and this isn't going anywhere unless you really want it to go somewhere. So just to watch it again, hot glued all the way up to each edge just to make sure that there weren't any places of light seeing through. And I put everything in there dry to make sure it fit. Then these little, just the same depth, they're all the same depth to make sure that the plate sits even. Hot glued it, dry fit it, and then make it permanent. This could be done with those flat canvases that some of the kid projects can have, where it doesn't have a frame on it, it's just like a flat canvas. This would be another way that you could frame those if you had those around your house and wanted to take them up a notch. Now you're going to see my super scientific way of hanging things. I hate measuring. I like based on sight. So I am using some tall push pins, and I'm making sure it is hitting the wood in the same place. And then I get down off the ladder and I see if I like it. Oh, got to move the push pin because it is, again, these are all homemade, so they're not all the same. Make sure it lays flat and it's level. And then add its friends next to it. Now, after I got all the push pins where I wanted them, I did go back in because he was scared they're going to fall and replace all the push pins with nails, but it was a lot easier as I was testing it out to check the push pins. And yes, I do move them all around. It may be easier to measure it, but I don't want to do that. So this is my method. Let me know in the comments below, how would you have tackled this straight line with 5 different pictures project? And then here is the final result. What do you think? Brett.
Hey, Mama.
So tell everybody how you made these Lego mosaic portraits.
Well, it's quite the process. The first couple of them took taking pictures and turning them black and white using a pixelator to turn them into lots of little pixels and then resizing that, then going by paint by number. But there is a faster way to do it. I
What's
realized
that?
just recently I found on the Lego website, if you search that, you'll find a mosaic portrait maker, and you can actually buy Lego packages that will send you all of the what we call studs or dots that allow you to make your mosaic. So that's the quick way to do it.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to tell all my followers on Create Your Own Cozy?
Yes, thank you for being a part of our lives, and thank you for making a difference, and you can continue to make a difference and be here for Mama by liking and subscribing and making comments on her page.
And sharing?
And sharing. Do that all day long.
All right.
See ya.